Hello, welcome to Yellow Door Urban Homestead. I am Asia and I'm an urban gardener growing in a small space out in my backyard. And tonight we're going to plant out. It is what? It is April the 28th. We're not planting everything out. If you watch my last video, which was my garden tour video, you would have noticed, well, I talked about my basil are getting eaten up. And I came out here, me and my daughter went fishing today. And so came home, took a shower, and said I'm gonna go out into the garden just to check on the seedlings. I have basil seedlings that have literally been eaten down to the stick. Let me show you. So like this one right here, whole top is gone. Luckily for me, basil will grow more basil here. But I want to get them in the ground and I'm gonna let them get established. They are quite leggy. I want to let them get established, and then I'm going to prune them at the top when I start to see leaves growing. So we're gonna get those in the ground today. The other thing that I want to do is probably direct sow. We had seeds that I was supposed to start in the house like 2 weeks before my planting date, and I did not get those started. Luckily for me, most of them are things that you are supposed to direct sow anyway. That will work just fine direct sown. So listen, we're not gonna have loofah this year. We're not gonna have loofah this year because I did not get them started. They take a while to start to produce, and I just think, oh, that's the dog. I say, what is that? And I just think I'm gonna skip those this year. I actually have some left from last year that I still need to peel and take the seeds out of. So with that being said, we're not gonna have loofah this year, which is fine. Gives me a little more space for other things, like more melons. Someone has sent me a bunch of seeds. I will have to look to see who it was. And so I want to make sure that I have space for those newer things that I really want to try. And so loofah, we are not going to have this year. But anywho, the things we're going to try to get direct sowed tonight. And if we don't get them direct sowed tonight, it is Sunday. We will do it Monday. This video comes out on Wednesday because I'm getting back on track. I want to get my beans direct sown. I want to get my squash direct sown. I want to get my melons direct sown, my cucumbers direct sown. So with that being said, the thing about that is I also have to pull things. So I have a lot of things that are going to seed. If you watched my garden tour video, there are a lot of things that's going to seed. And so we have to pull that stuff first before we can start planting things. We also need to do a little bit of fertilizing as well. And so we have a few things we need to do, but the first thing we're gonna get done is find out in this book where these basil are supposed to go, and wherever they're supposed to go, if something is in that spot, we're gonna go ahead and pull it tonight. So, like I said, I'm using my book, which I think most people have seen before. If you have not, I will put a link to the video of me planting the garden in case you haven't seen that. But we're gonna go ahead and get some things planted out. Not gonna be peppers, it's not gonna be tomatoes or anything like that. Sorry for all the background noise. It's about 6 o'clock. And it's like nice outside, so that is either a motorcycle or a dirt bike. I don't know. But you'll notice here, if you are new, that there's always some noise because like I said, I am in an urban setting. All right, so let's see here. This whole pan is basil. Like this whole entire pan is basil, and if you can see, it's getting pretty eaten up. It was getting eaten up before I even brought it out of the greenhouse. I don't know what it was, but I do know that if I get them in the ground, they can get established and they'll get stronger. So we're gonna do those. We have verbena that is starting to throw flowers, so we're gonna try to get those out tonight too. We'll put those all in the same pan, and then that way we'll know what we're supposed to be planting out. That may be it for the night. It may just be the basil. It's basically the things that look like they're struggling. So let's see. The middle bed does not have basil in it. My news. Which I should be using my stool for, but I'm using it as my table at this point to look at my book. But let's see. I love my stool. So it's not the middle bed. It's the bed near the compost that needs to have basil in it. So there's 6 in here. I only need 4 for this bed. So we might Well, we are probably gonna have to move that. We're gonna have to move that. Well, maybe we won't have to move anything because it's looking. Oh, it's very moist under here. It looks dry, but it's not dry when you get it pulled up. So let's see here. We're gonna go ahead and still leave these. No, we're not. Let's just take the beets. I know I said in my last video we were gonna leave them, and they were actually trying to grow some beets, but we're gonna go ahead and give those to the chickens because I don't think they were gonna do much, and if they were gonna be very woody, I do believe. So we're gonna give these to the chickens. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and pull these weeds that are in here. There are a few that are in here. All right, so we are gonna put 4 of these in here, and then we're gonna move along. I had left these in the 6-cell trays. Where is my stool? My knees, y'all. Got it. All right, I am gonna move this sunflower. Gonna just grab it in as much soil as I can. I have heard that sunflowers don't like their roots disturbed. I have moved sunflowers several times now. They've been fine. I always like to plant my sunflowers by a trellis. So we're just gonna drop it right here. And I do that so that as it gets bigger, I have the ability to tie it to the trellis. So, and we're gonna drop 4 of these down into the soil and move along. Ooh wee. Let's call that root bound, y'all. Let's go ahead and call it what it is, root bound. But that's a chance you take when you do not uppot your seedlings. I think they'll be fine. I'm just breaking up the roots a little bit so that they can take off into this soil. And I'm planting them at the same height that they were in the in their cell tray. I'm not planting them deep. I will go back through and water once I get everything planted out tonight. It helps with any air pockets or anything that may be in the soil, and it helps them to get established. So I'll put the sprinkler on. Another reason why I want to get things planted out and also direct sown is because I still have the ability to use the sprinkler. I don't really use the sprinkler in the summer because tomatoes are very fickle, and if their leaves get wet, you may be in trouble. So they're very fickle, and I try not to use the sprinkler. But right now, I still have that option, and this will help them to get established if I make sure they're always moist. If I make sure that they stay moist, it helps them to get established. So, and if you notice, I'm planting very closely this year. I said it in my other video. I am doing intense planting, and I'm also doing interplanting. Like my leeks are with my lettuce, because leeks are going to grow straight up. They will get large. They will get, you know, large leaves and things, but the lettuce will finish before that anyway. So like I said, once they're established, I'm going to come through, chop the tops, and then they will grow new leaves from the middle. All right? So we have replanted a volunteer sunflower, which is always nice to get a plant that you did not have to plant. And then we have these basil in. Like I said, we're going to water them really well before we go in the house, and we'll be good. So what is next? I did not bring my seeds outside because my daughter is out here too, because I forgot them. But this would be perfect because I am supposed to have a dwarf sunflower, which I would have to do by seed at this point. The calendula I put in other places. Now, someone told me in my last video, they left a comment and they said, be careful what you plant by foxgloves. The whole plant is poisonous, which I knew the plant was poisonous. I read that on the package. Did not realize that when we're saying the plant is poisonous, that like the roots and everything. So with that being said, we're also going to move the calendula out of the bed over there that we were going to turn into a herb bed. Now here's the thing, I love that foxglove. It's beautiful. I don't want to lose the foxglove. So I had put foxglove in other places. I showed you that in my garden tour. I had put foxgloves in other places. So what I'm gonna do is take my food out of that bed. So I put dill in there, I think, and I have calendula in that bed. I'm gonna move it, put it in the actual garden beds, and then that's just gonna stay a flower bed this year. So like I always say, just because you plant it doesn't mean that it's always gonna work. but you always have the chance to fix it, because that pretty little foxglove back there, you see it? You see it? It's not going nowhere. It is so pretty. I can't even believe I grew it, and it comes back every year from what I have seen so far, and I'm keeping it. So that is not going to be the herb bed. That is going to be the that's going to be the flower bed again still, mostly because I want that foxglove. Okay, so right here we have some calendula. We need 2 right now. So we're going to go ahead and just grab those from over here. And I am getting as much as we can. So I'm going to grab 2 real quick. And then we're just going to drop them in the bed. So it's supposed to be calendula and then a dwarf sunflower. Then it's supposed to be another calendula and a dwarf sunflower. And so I feel like I'm going to be able to get something else in here by that dwarf sunflower. They do get pretty big. They do get pretty big, the dwarf sunflowers, like wide, not tall. So we'll see what we can make fit in here with it. But we definitely will probably be putting something around it, maybe some lettuce. I'm not sure. But now the thing is, I have to find a lettuce that has, that doesn't bolt fast and that does not get bitter in the heat. So if you know one, put it in the comments below for me. Now, calendula also gets very big. It can get very big and very bushy. So we'll see. We'll let all of this grow, and then we'll do, like, you know, maybe some quick plants, even if it's just beans or something. Whatever it is, I want my beds to be full this year. I want them to be growing at max capacity. Max capacity, okay? I am throwing, and I may regret this, but I am throwing space into the wind. I really am. Since we were already working on this bed, I went ahead, my spot thing is killing me. Since we were already working on this bed, I went ahead and ran in the house and grabbed my seeds, because, like I said, we need a dwarf sunflower over here in between those 2 things. And I don't want those to get too large that they will shade out the sunflower. So they are in this 2-week bag that we did not get started. And so we're going to do it from seed. I feel comfortable doing this because I have the sprinkler. And I did this with some of my seeds for fall. And it worked out well. So we have a Sunspot Dwarf Cola, and then we also have a teddy bear sunflower, which this teddy bear sunflower was beautiful last year, right? So I'm definitely going to put one of these in, and then I'll put the Dwarf Cola on the other side, just to see which one maybe that I like the best. Where are my gloves? Here we go. The one that I like the best, they'll probably both be beautiful, and I'll probably grow them both. But like I said, I'm also mixing in the flowers this year because there'll be marigolds in this bed as well. There is another sunflower that self-sowed itself in this bed that we need to move. But I felt like since we were on this bed, we might as well keep going. We have this, what is this thing called? Ranunculus that didn't do well, but I'm leaving it because it's still growing right now. I could always move it. And with my direct sowing, I just dropped the seed in. Nothing fancy. I'll put 2 in just to make sure we get germination. These Dwarf Cola ones, they are new seeds, so I'm just gonna drop them in there. And then I gotta make sure that I keep this soil moist. That is the most important thing when you're direct sowing, is just making sure you keep the soil moist, because that's what the seeds need. They need moisture, they need warmth as well. We don't have any more frost in our forecast. Thing is, I just was waiting because I had more success last year, waiting to plant like my tomatoes and my peppers and kind of everything. But since most of this was either already out, like the calendula was already out, and the basil were getting tore up in those sales, I figured we might as well go ahead and start planting out, which is cool with me. In this little spot, we don't have many places to move, so I'm in the same spot a lot. What is my next thing in this bed? Marigolds could have been planted from seed. They're in here. We have the zucchini that'll be in front of, well, in the middle of the dwarf sunflower and the calendula, and then you have marigolds too. So we're gonna wait on the marigolds for tonight, but we are gonna go ahead and put the zucchini in because that's a direct sown seed. And the onions are around the outside. Don't know how well they're gonna do. I wonder if I even have zucchini. We might have to switch that out with like a regular squash, which will be fine. Probably something I was supposed to pick up because I wasn't gonna grow zucchini this year just because I don't have much luck with it. And not that I can't get it to grow or whatever. It's basically the vine borers. Let's see. Oh, I have a golden zucchini. Broke sent me those. So listen, I'm gonna do, instead of like green zucchini, because either I don't have them or I just didn't put them in here because I was like, I'm not doing it. But Broke sent me some golden zucchini and some candy roaster squash. I hope they grow like a regular zucchini, because if they do like vining, I'm in trouble. I'm gonna have to figure something out. But that's what we're gonna do. Instead of regular zucchini, we're gonna try these new seeds. My neighbor's dog. All right, so let's see. It would be a marigold here, a zucchini here, marigold, and then a zucchini. So we're gonna do a squash and a zucchini instead. So this bed may be close to planted out, and I might look and see how big the marigolds are, because if they're a decent size, we're gonna go ahead and put them in too. So I'm gonna do 2 seeds in this hole. Well, actually, I'm gonna do 3. I'm gonna mound it up a little bit. Then I'll thin them when it's time. So right here, just gonna make a little mound of sorts. And then I'm gonna stick the seeds in there. I am gonna make labels for these just because I've never grown them before. And I don't know their zucchini, but I won't know exactly which one. And I imagine the golden zucchini doesn't look like the candy roaster zucchini. I don't know. There's a worm in there. I always love seeing worms in my garden, because that means that my soil it's being worked. I love seeing worms in my soil. Okay, so we got the squash in. We need bush beans next. You can get 9 bush beans in a square foot. And we're gonna drop some beans in here. This is a royal burgundy. Can y'all see that? Now, I only did 1 this year because I noticed that pretty much every time 2 comes up, and it's somewhat a waste of my seeds. This will be the year that 2 doesn't come up. Well, not 1 even comes up. So that, we'll see. Somewhat gotten off track. The point of what I was doing this evening was to get them basil out. But now I'm like planting out a whole garden, right? It's okay. Then I have some top-notch wax beans, golden wax beans. So this will be a nice colorful little area. And so if you remember, my tomatillos did not germinate, and so we're moving on to, oh my goodness, I'm sitting on a whole onion, y'all. They didn't germinate, so we're moving on to another option for this area in between the onions and the leeks. Don't know what it's gonna be yet, but it'll be something else because I didn't get any tomatillos. There are so many weeds right now. I mean, so many weeds. I get to working out here, but then I see the weeds and I just want to pull them. And some of it is that crawling weed. I don't know if that's what they call bindweed or not, but it just crawls. And I have to go back in the house because I have some other bush beans that I need to get because we are out of the pretty ones. But I got a whole bunch from my local feed and seed store. They're in the house. We have 3 of these left, and the next 3 will be the ones that I got from my local feed and seed store. So that's pretty much what we're doing tonight. I am gonna get all this basil in, and this bed is now pretty much planted except for the marigolds that go in here now. And then whatever I'm gonna put right there because my tomatillos didn't because my tomatillos didn't germinate. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that stuff done, but I will see y'all tomorrow. I'm gonna try to get back on where I do like a week's worth. Like I'll show you Sunday, Monday what I've been doing out in the garden to get ready. But for tonight, that's what I'm doing. I'm getting stuff direct sown. Pretty much not gonna get anything else direct sown because I will get all off track. I will be doing this whole garden tonight, and that is not what I planned on doing. So that's what we're gonna do, get the beans in. This bed is pretty much planted, and then I'll see y'all tomorrow.